They just hired Joe Biden. He is very lucky that the Capitol attack happened, because 2 days after the Capitol attack, I wonder why he announced these picks 2 days after the Capitol attack, while the coverage was completely on the Capitol attack. You want to know who he brought in? Governor Gina Raimondo of Rhode Island. Literally, the governor of Rhode Island, whose nickname is Miss Goldman Sachs. No, that's not a joke. Look her up. Gina Raimondo, Goldman Sachs. Gina Raimondo was just named Commerce Secretary by Joe Biden. As governor of Rhode Island, her idea of economic development was basically continually partnering with Goldman Sachs to, quote unquote, help Rhode Island small businesses. Goldman Sachs dedicates $10 million to helping small businesses in Rhode Island. Well, I happen to have a few friends in Rhode Island. I asked them, when I mention Gina Raimondo's name, they get nauseous. Needless to say, Goldman Sachs didn't exactly help Rhode Island's working class voters with Gina Raimondo's partnership with Goldman Sachs. Needless to say, because she ain't a one-trick pony, Gina Raimondo, when Rhode Island was running out of stimulus money, where did Gina Raimondo as governor go? Goldman Sachs. As stimulus runs out, Rhode Island taps Goldman Sachs to support small businesses and backstop federal PPP money. Oh, I wonder what could go wrong. You're running out of money, so let's run to one of the largest banks on planet Earth that is responsible for destroying the global financial markets over a decade ago. She's done multiple partnerships with Goldman Sachs to, quote, help small businesses. I promise you, if I speak with a few small business owners in Rhode Island, I will find they were not helped by Goldman Sachs. And I promise you, if Goldman Sachs is involved, they're not interested in actually helping small businesses. They're interested in getting a huge, huge bonus, and if they can get away with it, defrauding their clients. Joe Biden just named Gina Raimondo, Mrs. Goldman Sachs, as his Commerce Secretary. That's not all. Politico reported Wednesday that Rhode Island Governor Gina Raimondo is under serious consideration to run the Department of Health and Human Services after years of destructive leadership in Rhode Island, where she is overseeing one of the worst COVID crises in the country. Picking Raimondo for HHS, a key position leading the administration's pandemic response, would be disastrous and harmful. The American public agrees. According to a recent polling, nearly 70% of respondents oppose Biden appointing Raimondo to any cabinet position. Quote, Raimondo is exactly the wrong person to pick if the goal is to install confidence that the Biden administration can bring a swift end to the pandemic. David Segal, executive director of Demand Progress and former Rhode Island House of Representatives member, said her record on health is a total disaster, and because of her mismanagement, COVID rates in Rhode Island are around twice the national average. Whether COVID, RI's Affordable Care Act, insurance exchange, or a major benefits overhaul known as UHIP, she has a lengthy track record of failures in the healthcare space in particular. Raimondo's career has been driven by out-of-state contributions from hedge funders who often back Republicans who share her antipathy for civil servants. Revolving Door Project Executive Director Jeff Hauser said, "We need a leader at Health and Human Services who could lift civil servants' morale after years of unwarranted attacks by Trump and Alex Azar. Raimondo is the wrong person with the wrong baggage at the most critical time. From mismanaging the pandemic to constantly siding with corporate interests to bankroll her campaigns to undercutting abortion access in Rhode Island, Raimondo's record on health should disqualify her from this position." At the behest of lobbyists, she issued executive orders to shield nursing homes, hospitals, and other healthcare providers from liability. Documents show that Raimondo quickly responded to lobbyist demands for an executive order granting them legal immunity during the pandemic, the culmination of a decade-old effort by the Koch-funded ALEC Quote, what immunity has done is allow nursing homes to act unreasonably without accountability, said Anthony Leone, a Warwick-based personal injury lawyer. She cut $58.7 million for Medicaid this year while giving $15.7 million to insurance companies. When we're pushing brutal Medicaid cuts, we just can't afford to give extra money to insurance companies, especially not when it comes with an initiative to encourage them to cut spending on actual care. She signed a budget that stripped abortion coverage from thousands of Rhode Islanders, contributing to NARAL downgrading her to mixed on choice. Rhode Island health insurers must offer plans that do not cover abortion under new requirements in the state's recently passed fiscal 2016 budget. I mean, honestly, if I had a few hours, this woman should not have any public position, let alone Commerce Secretary of the United States. But Biden just brought her in very quietly while all the media and everybody's attention was on the Capitol attacks. He brought in Marty Walsh, the mayor of Boston. If you live in Boston, I don't think you would disagree with me. This is a corrupt mayor who has been complicit in the Boston Police Department's corruption, harassment, and targeting of black Bostonians. He has been complicit in police cover-ups, and he is now Biden's labor secretary. So I want to be very clear. We're going to get to Trump, and I'm not focusing on Democrats to absolve Trump of what he just did, absolve these white terrorists of what they just did, because yes, they are terrorists. This is not absolving Donald Trump. This is not saying that we shouldn't, there should be no focus on Donald Trump's impeachment, possibly the 25th Amendment. Reports are coming out. Mike Pence is kind of opening the door to the 25th Amendment if Trump acts more unstable. I don't really know what that means. How much more unstable do you want this man to act, Vice President Pence? I think Trump should be criminally prosecuted, which I'm going to get to in a few minutes. But I just want to make sure. I want to make sure that progressives keep their eye on the ball. We cannot let them change the topic completely away from the gross economic destruction in this country, the gross economic inequality in this country, the gross fact that over 50 million Americans do not have health insurance, the gross fact that between 50 and 100 million are underinsured, the fact that we have a mass eviction crisis on our hands, the fact that we do not know when this pandemic will be over, we do not know how effective this vaccine will be. We do not know if this coronavirus mutation that is now spreading across the country could be worse than the original COVID-19. We have to not let them change the discussion solely to Trump, solely to bringing Trump to justice, solely to undoing the damage Trump did domestically and globally. Walk and chew gum at the same time. If Biden and the media want to bring Trump to justice, that's fine. You could do it while simultaneously giving monthly, not one check, monthly checks of $2,000 or more to every American while we are still in this pandemic. That's what needs to happen. Monthly $2,000 checks. We also need to, and I talked about this yesterday, right now, Bernie Sanders is one of the most powerful senators in the United States. There's a 50-50 tie between Democrats and Republicans in the Senate. 50-50 tie means Kamala Harris as vice president breaks the tie. But if any Democrat, let's say for most things, which I predict, Republicans will not give their votes to Joe Biden. I'm not seeing many things that Republicans are going to give their votes to Joe Biden for. That means you can't afford to lose any Democratic senator if you're not going to get any Republican votes. I don't think you're getting Republican votes on $2,000 checks. I don't think you're getting Republican votes on any form of UBI. I don't think you're getting Republican votes on any type of healthcare expansion. I don't think you're getting any Republican votes on any type of climate change legislation. I don't think you're getting Republican votes on any type of cancellation of rent. So that means if you're not going to get any Republican votes, the Democrats can't afford to lose one of those Democrats, because if they lose one of those 50 Democrats, well, there's no tie, and thus Kamala Harris can't break the tie. Why is that important? Because Bernie Sanders could be that power broker as a Democratic senator. Bernie Sanders could be that one Democrat who says, I'm not giving you my vote unless you come to me. You come, I'm talking to you, Chuck Schumer, I'm talking to you, Joe Biden, you come to the progressive side and you give us what we want. From a floor vote on Medicare for all, from monthly checks, to rent cancellation, to a whole host of other things. And I hear the argument from people, well, Jordan, you're saying Bernie could be the most critical senator, but what about Joe Manchin? Can't he stop? Can he stop things as well? He can. That's fair. But who is more likely of Bernie Sanders or Joe Manchin to try and block legislation that caters from neoliberal to right wing, which is most of the legislation you're going to see from Joe Biden? Do you think Joe Manchin is going to try and block neoliberal legislation like the TPP trade deal? I don't think so. Do you think Joe Manchin is going to try and block tax credits for the middle class, like stimulus that gives tax credits to the middle class, or job retraining for the middle class? No, Joe Manchin will go along with that. You think Joe Manchin is going to block legislation to, help small businesses, which they call that kind of legislation tax credits to help small businesses, but in reality, all of those tax credits that the Democrats have done traditionally to help small businesses, coincidentally, always seem to help big banks. Do you think Joe Manchin is going to be the one to try and block those things? I don't think so. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.